On the air.
All right. Welcome to the Belvedere City Council Committee of the Whole meeting of October 9th, 2023. The clerk will call the roll. Help me out with the roll call, please.
Albertini,
Here.
Brereton,
Here.
Flurry,
Here.
Frank. Here. Freeman. Here. Gramkowski. Here. McGee.
Here.
Mulhall. Here. Porter. Porter is absent. Snow.
Here.
9 present.
Okay, under public comment, we don't have anybody registered for public comment. I will say that this morning at 10 o'clock, we had a swearing in for Belvedere firefighter Luis Herrera, and it was pretty nice. Chief, I don't know if you wanted to say anything about your good fortune with finding Mr. Herrera?
Well, sure. Thank you, Mayor. It's just, we're really fortunate that he is a certified firefighter and a certified paramedic already, and he is bilingual. So we were glad that he made it through the process and that he's here with us. Be 1 week orientation, and then he will be providing service in a week, 2 weeks or so.
Very quick. Thank you, Chief. You must be living right. Good fortune follows you. All right, under public forum, we have none. Reports of officers, boards, and special committees. Item 1, building, planning, zoning, unfinished business, we have none. Item 2, next page, building, planning, zoning, new business. Building department update, Mr. Countryman, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. For the month of September, we issued 134 permits for a value of just under $2.5 million. 22 of those were commercial, 112 residential. We had 4 code enforcement violation fees paid in the amount of $600. Some updates for some projects going on. General Mills expects to be done by November, around Thanksgiving. As you can probably see, Yukon is busy grading, getting the pad ready. Pearl Street Apartments is in their final phase of renovating the living spaces, getting them ADA compliant. Dunkin' Donuts, the review letter has been sent out. Fuel Center is getting pretty busy. The car wash review letter has been out. Walmart's got their shell up for the grocery pickup expansion going on. We issued a Grady Pool demo permit, and the fire department and our department has inspected and approved the Apollo Theater to reopen. And I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions? Alderwoman Freeman?
Thank you. So, Director Countryman, when you talk about residential and commercial permits, it's not like new construction, right? It's permits that maybe remodeling, new roof, building a deck, stuff like that, right?
For September, we haven't issued any new project permits. Yeah, it's mostly maintenance and remodeling projects, driveways, paved parking lots, things like that.
Anybody else? All right, and then Director Murphy out there as well. I think they're moving along out at Walmart.
Yeah, we issued their C of O last week, so they're all done. They're just doing their inside stuff, getting it ready to go.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kip. And we have item B, Planning and Zoning Department, Ms. Delrose.
Thank you. There was 2 cases in September, the Panama taxi sign special use and the rezoning for MRS. Tomorrow we have 1 case on the agenda, and that's for the mobile gas station that was purchased by Kelly Williamson. They're just bringing it into compliance. Quite a few final inspections going on. Like Kip stated, Murphy Oil, Dairy Queen, all those buildings that are getting their COs and opening in time for the fall season. Historic Preservation was busy getting ready for the awards banquet on the 19th. And hometown Christmas meetings have started. And I'm happy to say that the comp plan is still moving forward. There's going to be an open house on November 2nd. They're scheduling stakeholder meetings with about 40 people throughout the community and different taxing bodies to get their input, and have started on their existing land use plan. So that is really good to see. And that is the bulk of it.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Delrose? Alderwoman Freeman?
Thanks again. So, I read somewhere that the gas station on the corner of, Jackson and State is now selling food. Did they need a special permit for that, to be able to do that?
Nope, food sales is permitted in that zoning district. I saw that as well, and I did notify the health department, and they did get proper health department permits, and I don't think, they didn't like install a kitchen or anything that required building permits. I'm not quite sure how the food is being prepared, but it wasn't a huge renovation with installing a certified kitchen and stuff like that, but they did get proper health department permits.
Okay, anybody else? All right. Thank you, Gina. Item 3, Public Works unfinished business, we have none. Item 4, Public Works new business. Item A, Public Works update. Mr. Anderson is not here, and Jordan Keck is here on his behalf, so Jordan, welcome. And any update?
Yeah, as most of you guys know, 2 Fridays ago, Friday, September 29th, around 4 p.m., we had a fire occur at the street department in our Seco building. It was determined that the fire started due to one of our street sweepers. The sweeper was a total loss, and there were some additional trucks and equipment damage as part of the incident. The clerk's office has filed an insurance claim, and we're currently working with the insurance company to assess the extent of the damage and how to proceed.
Okay. Thank you, and
Is there any questions?
any questions regarding that? Alderman Albertini?
Thank you, Mayor. The street sweeper's gone. Do we have other ones to clean the streets, or are we going to be dirty for a while?
We still have one street sweeper, but yeah, it's just the other one is gone.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? All righty. Item B. Thank you, Jordan. Item B, parking lot number 7 expansion and enhancement grants projects, design and construction engineering. In your packet, there's a memo from Director Anderson regarding parking lot number 7. Jordan?
Thank you, Mayor. If the council could please refer to the memo in the packet, the city has received a federal TAP grant and a state of Illinois DCEO grant for the reconstruction of municipal parking lot number 7. The preliminary design plan is attached to the memo, along with a proposal from Arc Design Resources in an amount not to exceed $119,700 in order to complete the topographic and boundary survey, project development report and ESR, construction plans and permit, electrical design, construction staking, and construction management required to complete the project. I would recommend approval of the proposal, which will be paid from grant funds and capital funds.
Okay, motion by Alderman Snow and a second by Alderwoman Mohal. Thank you. Questions, Alderman Snow?
Maybe not a big deal, but having used canoes and that, I see the canoe launch / kayak launch doesn't have any vehicle access down to the water very close. Is that on purpose at this point, or is that subject to change?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. Is anyone else,
Yeah, I think they were going to use some of that limestone, the block that they had over there to the river. what that was going to look like, whether it was going to be stepping stone or whether it was going to be some sort of a ramp. I guess I'm not sure yet. My guess would be it would probably be something that people would carry their canoe to the launch, but I don't know for sure. I do know, though, that people have asked about R1 and what R1 does for the city since we belong to R1. And I'd mentioned before in the past that they help us to be able to obtain state funding, or they had helped us to be able to obtain state funding. And of course, now they have been, they also are the representative for any federal funding that the city may be able to obtain. So this $216,781 of TAP grant was from a project that R1 had went ahead and placed the city of Belvedere in line for. So I wanted to thank and acknowledge R1. Without them, we would not have gotten it. But I don't know, Alderman Snow, regarding your question, I think we'll clarify it prior to getting there, but when Brent comes back. Go ahead.
And I did see that there's, appears to be 4 locations tentatively, according to this plan, for the EV recharging. So
Correct.
That's good.
Mhm. Yep. Alderwoman Freeman had her hand up first, then Alderman Fleury.
Thanks again. So, by my calculations, that's $818,663 in grant money. Do you guys know what you guys have proposed as like a total budget for this whole project?
900.
Me and Shannon were going over that earlier. It looks like initially it was $888,000 in that ballpark. We still want to meet up with Brent once he gets back to clarify the final numbers. Because I know there was going to be some capital funds being used, but we still wanted to clarify with Brent as to how all of it's going to be covered.
Okay. Alderman Fleury.
Thank you. Do you know approximately when this project will begin, and then once it begins, how long it'll take for completion?
So, I know the current plan is we want to go out for bid probably this winter, so then we can start construction this spring. That's the current plan. As to the current schedule, I'm not entirely sure as to how long it will take, but I know the goal is to start on construction this spring.
Okay. Any other questions? Alderman Byrd.
Thank you. So this seems awfully extravagant for a parking lot, and I feel it might be a project better suited for the Park District. And also, I do not support the whole EV agenda, so I won't be supporting this as it is unless maybe we make a motion to remove the charging stations and then this fancy LED sign. I don't feel we need that either. Thank you.
We had talked about what the shortfall may be with the funding, and we had thought with this project it will enhance our downtown business owners' ability to park. They'll have an ability to park. Whether or not EVs are going to be the thing of the future, I'm not sure, but through Blink, that was a part of this, so there was no money that the city had placed for that. That was part of the grant, part of the money that the city had received. So I guess that came with it. And then regarding the sign, I kind of thought if we had, like a parade or any news that we had regarding anything in the city, the hometown Christmas or what have you, it would be an LED display light that people could come by. It would be moved out towards the street, and people would be able to see that, and then any corresponding date and times could be put on it. I think from my perspective, I want the downtown to do well. I think for any events that we may have down there, if we can advertise it, a lot of people don't see what may be in the shopper, what may be on Facebook or whereabouts. But if we put it on an LED display downtown, I guess that's up to the council to decide whether or not they think it's a good use of funds. But it is, the majority of this is through funding. And the total project cost, I know, was estimated at $960,000, but the city's portion of this is going to be small. Ms. Hanson?
I was just going to share that if we do receive all the grant funding we anticipate to receive for this project, the city's portion would actually be about $82,000. Everything else would be covered by grants funds. And we actually had $150,000 in the capital plan this year for parking lot improvements for number 7.
Thank you. So how I looked at it was, what can you get, where else can you get a, 100%, for your $80,000, $82,000 investment, you almost get $1 million worth of downtown improvement. I thought that was pretty good bang for the buck. Makes sense. It's not, the predominance of it is funding that we've received from others. So it's up to the council on what you want to do. It is our downtown, and that lot, we had some plans with it. I think this really does enhance the area down there with the new lot. And then also, we had saved some timbers, some stanchions, some cast iron stanchions from the demo that we had done down on Meadow Street. We had saved some of that down there with the intent of making use of them there, and potentially if we can put a pavilion over behind, at the river behind Meadow Street and the building that we had torn down. So anyhow, we do have some material there that I think we're going to add to it. Didn't cost us anything. We salvaged it. So anyhow, any other questions? Alderman Albertini?
Okay, it was just brought up that this project might be something for the Park District. Well, I thought Rick just mentioned what he felt. Okay, and the reason I feel it wouldn't be is because they don't own the land and they have no right to do anything there.
Well, it's a city lot, and so we applied for the money to be able to make it better than what it is. So that's what it is. Anyhow, any other questions, comments? Alderwoman Moha?
Thank you, Mayor. Just looking at this plan, this is just kind of a general question. Looking at the actual lot next to, like, directly next to where Lori's Little Critters is, like the end of that building, it seems like what's shown here is actually like narrower between Lori's and then where that the little crepe stand is, the next buildings to the west. Is the entrance to that getting changed, like into the parking lot? Yes.
I believe it will,
Okay.
yeah. Yep. Gina, do you have any comment on that?
I was just explaining that the paved area is narrowed because there's landscaping and beautification. I would like to point out that there is actually a downtown property owner in that area that wants to do some extensive renovations to their building, and they're actually holding off when they heard about the potential of this project, because they believe to put that much money into their building when behind them is really broken up parking area and a very unkept riverbank, and it's not encouraging to them to do anything to their building when that's surrounded by them. So when they heard about this a couple months ago, they were very excited and have every intention to do some stuff to their building that they've been talking to me about once this is complete, because they also believe that they can get a higher quality tenant once this is done as well.
So some of that concrete space, looking at this plan to the left, this is going to be more landscape right here in the middle, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. I can check on
Thank you. I think Gina brings a good point up. We have an opportunity to do something with the downtown, and hopefully it does get contagious with some of the business owners down there. They may feel that, you know, if we're willing to help where we can, that's some incentive for them to make improvements as they would like to or as they see fit. Anyhow, if there's no other questions, okay. Hearing none, then we have a motion on the floor to recommend the approval of the proposal from Arc Design in an amount not to exceed $119,700 to complete the design, engineering, and construction services for the parking lot number 7 expansion and enhancement project. This work will be paid for from grant funds and capital funds. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And if there's any opposed? No. Okay, motion passed, thank you. And we have item C in your packet, which would be the MFT overlay project, change in plans form. Jordan?
Thank you, Mayor. If you please refer to the memo in your packet, attached to this memo is the IDOT change in plans form for MFT overlay project. The change in plans represent an additional $92,574.80 to the original contract amount of $949,860, a 9.75% increase. This increased cost represents additional work that was completed due to base failure on West Chrysler Drive, along with additional work done at transitions and intersections throughout the project. I would recommend approval of the change in plans for the MFT overlay project. This cost will be paid for from IDOT MFT fund line number 10-5-310-6000.
Okay, if I could get a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Albertini, second by Alderwoman Mulhall. Thank you. Any questions? Alderman Snow?
I realize the additional expense comes out of the MFT fund, so that doesn't, while the MFT is thrown into the general fund, it's not, that's dedicated funds that aren't gonna divert other things from being done, equipment, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Alderwoman Freeman, and then Alderwoman Frank.
Thank you again, Mayor. So this work has already been completed. Where was the $92,000 going to come from if this didn't pass?
I believe that when you do the MFT paperwork through IDOT, they give you a base amount that would cover up to a certain percentage. Is that correct, Shannon? I believe it's about 20%, so it's covered by the MFT regardless.
Alderwoman Frank?
Thank you, Mayor. Could you explain what due to base failure means? I don't understand that.
So under West Chrysler Drive, there's a 2-inch base layer that then the 2 inches of asphalt goes on top of that. Once we got in there and started, looking at it, we determined that the base had failed under that road and had to be replaced. So originally, when we came up with our costs for overlaying that road, we assumed it was just going to be a 2-inch overlay, which turned into 4 inches because we had to replace that 2-inch base.
Thank you, that helps.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the change in plans for the MFT overlay project as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed. Okay, motion passed, thank you. And we have item D, water facility easement and maintenance agreement regarding the General Mills project. Jordan?
So in order to provide the maximum amount of fire protection for the new General Mills development on Irene Road, the fire loop around the building, including 3 water main connections, need to be a public water main. A public water main eliminates the dead-end provisions of the Illinois State Plumbing Code administered by the Illinois Department of Public Health. Because the fire loop is located entirely on private property, a permanent easement is required. As a condition of the easement, the property owner, Scannell Properties, has agreed to maintain the fire loop in its entirety. I would recommend approval of the water facility easement and maintenance agreement between the City of Belvedere and Scannell Properties, and to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Excuse me, if I could get a motion to that effect, please? Alderwoman Mohal, second by Alderman Albertini. Thank you. Any questions regarding that? I think it speaks for itself. It is for us to have an easement and the maintenance agreement as stated in the motion. If there are no questions, all those in favor of the motion on the floor, please say aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed? Motion passed, thank you. And item E, resolution granting authority to submit the local limits evaluation to the US EPA. Jordan?
Thank you, Mayor. The U.S. EPA requires us to submit a local limits evaluation every 5 years for industrial user wastewater pretreatment standards. We had Baxter Woodman prepare this evaluation, and the U.S. EPA requires that City Council authorize submittal of this evaluation. Therefore, we would like to request a motion to forward the resolution granting authority to submit the local limits evaluation to U.S. EPA to City Council.
Okay. Motion by Alderman Snow and a second by Alderman Albertini. Thank you. Alderwoman Freeman?
Thank you again. So this is IEPA stuff. So what does this entail? Like they take water samples from the places and then they make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do every 5 years, and then they have to prove that to the IEPA?
So essentially, this report is just developing the local limits as to what our treatment plant can accept. So then we work with the industrial users. I think we have 4 in Belvedere in order to, I guess, meet those standards based off of what our plant can handle.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion on the floor, please say aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed? Okay, motion passed. And that is all we have on the agenda this evening. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please? Motion by Alderman Albertini, second by Alderman McGee. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And anybody want to stay? Okay, motion passed. For the record, we adjourned at 6:32 p.m. Thank you.